The Battle of Neuve Chapelle, which took place from March 10 to March 13, 1915, was a pivotal engagement during the early stages of World War I, representing the first large-scale planned British offensive on the Western Front. Situated in the Artois region of northern France, the village of Neuve Chapelle held strategic importance as it was positioned near the Aubers Ridge, a low elevation that provided the German forces with a commanding view of the surrounding terrain. The British High Command, under Field Marshal Sir John French and operationally directed by General Sir Douglas Haig of the British First Army, intended to exploit a perceived weakness in the German lines in this sector. The goal was to seize Neuve Chapelle quickly, advance to capture the Aubers Ridge, and potentially cause a broader rupture in the German defensive network. In preparation for the attack, the British massed over 340 artillery pieces and nearly 48,000 men, including units from the IV Corps and the Indian Corps, particularly the Lahore and Meerut divisions, making this one of the first major combat actions involving a large number of troops from British India. The battle began with an intense 35-minute artillery barrage, the most concentrated bombardment by the British Army up to that point in the war, targeting German trenches, barbed wire, and communication lines. This bombardment was followed by a rapid infantry assault, which achieved initial success. The British captured the village of Neuve Chapelle within a few hours and pushed about 1,200 yards into German-held territory. However, this early momentum quickly faltered due to several critical issues. Communications between headquarters and frontline units were severely disrupted, as telephone lines were cut by shellfire, and orders had to be carried by runners, who were often delayed or killed. In addition, the lack of effective coordination between artillery and infantry meant that some German strongpoints remained intact and inflicted heavy casualties on the advancing troops. Moreover, confusion and disorganization among the attacking units, compounded by muddy terrain and disrupted supply lines, prevented a swift continuation of the assault. The Germans, initially caught by surprise, quickly recovered and brought in reinforcements, including reserve divisions and additional artillery, effectively halting the British advance. Counterattacks and sustained German resistance turned the battle into a static and costly confrontation. By the end of the battle, the British had suffered approximately 11,200 casualties, including many from the Indian Corps, who had fought with determination despite difficult conditions and unfamiliar European terrain. German losses were estimated at around 10,000. While the British managed to capture a small area of land, they failed to achieve the larger objective of capturing Aubers Ridge or causing a decisive breach in the German lines. Nonetheless, the battle revealed both the potential and the limitations of offensive tactics in trench warfare. It exposed the need for better artillery-infantry coordination, improved communication systems, and more flexible command structures. Neuve Chapelle also served as a morale boost and a propaganda tool, particularly in emphasizing the bravery and effectiveness of colonial troops. Though tactically limited, the battle influenced the planning of future operations, such as the larger and more ambitious Battle of Loos later in 1915. Ultimately, Neuve Chapelle exemplified the challenges of breaking the trench deadlock and foreshadowed the brutal attritional nature of the battles that would define much of the war on the Western Front.